Hello, sweet viewers. Annyeong. That means hi in Korean. I'm Christine from Kimbap TV, empowering you to live a happier and safer life, especially if you're a fellow domestic violence survivor. In this video, I want to share with you my thoughts of growing up without a dad and how that affects me as an adult. It's a sensitive topic for me because my dad is very much alive. He just chose not to be in my life. While it's really painful for me to process the fact that my own father rejected me, I was recently reminded that just because someone doesn't have the capacity to love us, it doesn't change our lovability. So let's uncover some layers and use this hurtful experience to create some positive learning opportunities. I grew up mostly in Los Angeles with my mom, my grandparents, and my 3 aunts. I bounced around a lot between LA and South Korea when I was really little, but I moved back permanently to California when I was in the 1st grade. Since then, I could probably count on my hands how many times I've seen my dad. I don't remember him calling, not even on my birthday, and I don't remember him sending me any letters or presents. My childhood home in Culver City was full of family members who loved me and spoiled me, so I didn't lack love, but I never got any from my dad. I think the lack of having a strong male figure to look up to, besides my aging haraboji or grandpa, played a factor in my being attracted to the kind of guys like my domestic violence abuser. As I grew up, I developed this void, like I was missing something that no one in my household could fill. I saw my friends' dads as loving protectors who helped us to feel safe. I wish I had that too. So when I started dating, I found myself gravitating towards older guys who could provide a similar sense of security. They generally had good jobs, strong personalities where I felt protected, and they also tended to make a lot of decisions on my behalf, which I don't mind at all. I think these things that I preferred weren't necessarily bad. I genuinely liked that someone had my best interest in mind and made decisions based on that. But you could see where this is heading. My domestic violence abuser possessed all of these traits that I was looking for. During our first date, he pre-selected what we would eat, reserved a private room, and had no problem bossing around our server. During our relationship, he continued to choose places we would go to, activities we would do, and what we would eat and drink. They were all very much in line with what I liked. I felt special that someone knew me that well and wanted to treat me like a princess. However, after our honeymoon phase, his strong personality became more dominant and his considerate gestures transitioned into unexpected bouts of anger. I found myself fearful of him more often than I'd like and learned not to question his decisions. I just went along with them because I didn't want him to blow up, which he frequently did when I voiced any opposing thoughts. When my now ex's decisions and other actions no longer aligned with my best interest, I realized how dangerous my circumstances had become. My abuser gained more and more control over me, and I felt helpless. Looking back to the few memories I shared with my dad, I realized how similar their behaviors were. I remember this one time I visited South Korea while I was a teenager. My dad, who rarely takes me anywhere, knew that I was on my high school golf team. So he got excited and took me to a very difficult golf course up in the mountains. I really wasn't a good golfer and told him that the course looked too difficult for me. But he didn't listen to me. He insisted that we would have a fun time, and he forced me to play, where I lost countless golf balls and felt totally humiliated by the end. And when I looked over at him, I could tell he was visibly disappointed in me for not being able to play any better. I let him down during the one time he gave me to hang out with him. I visited Korea again while I was in college to attempt to reconcile with my dad as a born-again Christian. He drove me around while I was filming my documentary thesis for UCLA Film School. He found it exciting that I was making a movie and he wanted to be in it. He showed me his company and arranged a formal dinner with a room filled with all male employees. He never asked if I'd be comfortable meeting so many of his workers, and I felt very awkward while I was there. Dad flew over to LA to attend my graduation and to watch my thesis film. I think he was there for about a week, but he played golf by himself for most of his days and was therefore unavailable. After the graduation ceremony, he asked what I was planning to do. I told him excitedly that I wanted to become a TV reporter and that I was planning to knock on doors at newsrooms across the country and hopefully get a job that way. He looked at me and said, "You'll never make any money doing that. You're going to go to business school and take over my business." I had no idea what he was talking about. Again, he wasn't involved in my childhood except for rare occurrences like the ones I just told you about. So when I told him that he never mentioned this to me and that I am truly passionate about storytelling, the look on his face said it all. He was beyond disappointed. His eyes were very similar to my abuser when I let him down. My dad told me that I would regret this decision, that the job and career I wanted was going to be a total waste of time, that it was never going to get me rich, and that he'd be expecting to hear from me when I changed my mind and decided to do what he said. A day or two later, I dropped him off at the airport. He threw a wad of $100 bills at me before walking away. He said he didn't know what I wanted as a graduation gift. Then he left and I never saw him again. To this day, he refuses to talk to me. All I really wanted was a dad who loved me and wanted to be in my life. But not everyone is blessed to have that, and I accept it now. My dad's absence is what led to that void in my heart. No human can fully fill it, especially a domestic violence abuser who used my vulnerability as a way to control me. I have a 5-year question and answer journal that I keep by my bed. I haven't filled it out every year, but recently I came across this prompt. The question of the day was, what would you like to tell your father? In 2016, I wrote, you're wrong. In 2019, I wrote, I'm doing fine without you, but I'd rather have you in my life. In 2020, I wrote, I forgive you. As I looked at my entries from the past to now, I've realized that maybe I'm growing in a positive way. Maybe I'm learning to let go of the hurt. I'll make another video on forgiveness one day when I'm farther along on my journey of truly forgiving my domestic violence abuser. But as for my father, I think I'm just about there. I heard recently that his hair has gotten white, that he's facing a lot of stress from work, and that he is really hurting because his mother passed away. Hearing this made me sad and grieve over so many lost years where we could have been a family. I know the day will come when I will get the notice that he passed away. And when that day comes, I want to know that I don't have unresolved feelings in my heart for him. So I chose to forgive and to wish him the best, and I hope to do that one day with my abuser too. I hope this helps you to see the connections I made way after I left my abuser. I had no idea that a lack of a father figure could lead to life decisions as an adult that could be so detrimental. But like I said, just because someone doesn't have the capacity to love us, it doesn't change our lovability. I found and married a man who does have that capacity to love. And his dad and I are starting to build a relationship too, the kind I wish I always had. He texts me the funniest Bitmojis and drops by often with Chinese food or other treats I like. And when I need help or if there is something on my mind, he's always there, available and wanting to support me. So don't give up hope if you have similar experiences. There are so many people out there who are capable of loving us in the right way. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And if you can think of someone who can relate to this message, please share it with them. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you again in my next video. Bye.